fellow dreamers. Welcome back to the DreamersLIVE podcast. Oh, we're so thrilled to be back with you. We're going to do a very special podcast. It's the first one of the season, and we're going to tell you way too much information about our vacation. And then we're going to talk about hope and a reason for hope, and how hope is part of the universal human experience, and what you can do to nurture that and give yourself more hope. And it's a really great conversation, and I promise if you listen all the way through, you will feel better when this conversation is over. So let's get started.
This podcast is a presentation of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners.
Dreamers, welcome to the first podcast of 2026. That space age date, way out in the future that is finally here.
Why does that sound weirder than 2025?
I don't know. It just feels like it's a sci-fi book movie getting ready to happen, kind of thing.
Or like an episode of The Jetsons.
Something,
it's
in
weird,
in the year 2026.
In fact, we were watching something the other night, and somebody said something about 26. It was a movie set back in time. They said, well, back in 26. And I was like, oh, my Lord, we're at 2026.
Yeah, right.
It's weird.
It is crazy.
Well, but hello. Welcome.
And also, hi, Anjanette. How are you?
I'm good. I jumped the gun on my intro. I apologize.
Also, things that are weird, just being in this space. We have not done a podcast in a week or two. I think probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so in that time, I secured the lair. And closed it down like a sacred space, wanting to keep it safe from anything that might happen in the off season.
In the pod studio, as they say.
The lair has been sleeping, and so it's just a short insight into our lives, friends. While we were away, we did a multitude of things. We celebrated Christmas as we're wont to do this time of year, and the New Year, and then because our daughter is on the precipice of no longer loving us or liking us because she's 14. We thought, let's seize this moment and do 5 days nonstop together on a trip.
We did.
And she's, as you guys know, because we've talked about it before, she's a huge Harry Potter fan. And you thought actually, let's take her to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
There you go.
And do Harry Potter World at Universal Studios.
Yeah. She'd been asking for 3 years, ever since she turned 11, because that was the age that Harry Potter, became a wizard, so it's very significant. Mm-hmm. So she's really wanted to go see it, and a few of her friends had been, and I said, this may be the last little kid thing she ever asked us for, so we saved up, and I thought it was actually pretty cool.
Well, just as confession, full transparency, I don't like theme parks.
You are not, it's not your jam.
And I don't like amusement parks even more.
Right.
And this is both of those combined. And so I was, but I'm gung-ho. It's our family, and we're going to do a family trip. And, it would have been, we thought, okay, well, it'll be nice weather. Who knew that it would be warmer in Oklahoma than it was in Florida leading into that?
We've got some weird weather going on here.
And I have to say, as a denier, as an amusement denier, it's amazing what they've done. It's actually, if you've never been, there's actually 3 parks spread out over Orlando in a kind of a
they're kind of interconnected,
But thematically, they're all connected and stuff, and so each of those parks locations has a Harry Potter has a Harry Potter part of it. And so one has the Ministry of Magic, one has Hogwarts, and one has
Castle, and the other was Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley, And
so you have to, in order to see, it's pretty genius. In order to see all the Harry Potter stuff, you have to get tickets to all 3 of them. I want to see them all. And at first I was like, really, do we need to see them all? But I am so glad we did. It's huge. It is
amazing. Yeah. I mean, just the build out, just the construction, so it's not in any way like flimsy backdrops or painted stuff that you have to just believe is it or whatever. No, they just built the stuff. They built the castle.
They built a castle.
They built the Ministry of Magic. Yeah, so you go into this thing, it's the Ministry of Magic and all that stuff, and you just get caught up and lost in it. It's so, everything you see in the movie, or close to probably what you imagined in reading the book, is there. Yeah. And it feels like a real
place.
Yeah. And so from that vantage point alone, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And then to see all the things that, you read about and that they reference in the movies and all this stuff, you get to
all the
see
little
that stuff.
details.
Pretty fantastic.
Cool. It kind of, I was just came back from a meeting and I was talking with somebody about it, and I said, sometimes in life you shell out the money, you save up, and you think, was that really worth it? And I said, yeah. I mean, it was really cool. And the creativity of the things that people have designed and built and the detail is unbelievable. It kind of reminds me of going to Las Vegas, in that the first time you go, you don't want to stand there and be like, golly, this is cool. But it really was like that. It's like Vegas for Harry Potter fans.
It was on the verge of being overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
Like there's just
all the
so much to
stimulus
see.
and sound.
And so much stuff. And so we traveled there early one morning.
Yeah.
And then went to the park that afternoon and so go into the evening. And so really even magical even at night.
Yeah, they're very different at
but
night.
they had, like the Dr. Seuss part of it was there. They had a thing for New York. They had Krusty Land from
The Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Yeah, they had a whole.
My
just the
gosh!
themes. If you're into
Fast
any of
and
that,
Furious. They had they had a Jurassic World. They had How to Train Your Dragon World.
yeah.
But
So if it's a movie that Universal has made,
the Dr.
they've
Seuss
recreated
thing
it.
for Dr. Seuss was way over the top too. It was
Yeah.
just whimsical and all of this
Yes.
stuff, and maybe not quite as interactive as some things. But I mean, you could ride rides through it and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and so just all of it. Just from the design standpoint and the music standpoint. And for us, it was kind of fun. We've done a trip like this for the last 3 years, right after Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's special for us because, most people have a busy season going into Christmas. And so when we take a trip, literally usually the day after Christmas or 2 days after, it's for us where we're going ends up being still in Christmas.
Yeah.
So Chicago or Vegas, or in this case, Universal. So they're pumping the Christmas jams.
Yeah, so it kind of extends it.
And
it's been
garland everywhere and bulbs everywhere. And so for us, it's like, oh, this is Christmas, but on a greatly slowed down scale now.
Exactly. Like we're not having to plan the events, and we're
No
not
one's
hosting
buying
the parties.
gifts, no one's giving gifts, no one's going anywhere.
And it's
doing
been a
anything.
really good time for us to kind of reconnect as a little family unit. So I thought this one was fun. Another thing I liked about it, and by the way, we're not getting paid for endorsements here or anything. It's just, I kind of liked
Another
it.
sponsor for the podcast.
Yeah, I was talking to another, Universal. I don't know. We don't need them.
Yeah.
But I was talking to another mom, and I said, part of what I liked about it is that we kind of we saved up, paid for everything in advance. And it was sort of like you didn't have to make any decisions. You just got up, which of the parks do you want to go to today?
Yes.
Cool, let's go to that one and then come back to the hotel for a little while.
Yeah.
And then you would just go and do it. So it was kind of all-inclusive, and we paid for it. But I liked that
But it's
part
also
of it.
delightful to see someone that you love be delighted in that moment and
was
have that
so
experience.
sweet.
And for us to be able to have that quiet, zone for a little bit, it was really sweet.
It was very nice. The only
And
downside.
also funny because, on both trips, we had to be up at like 3 a.m. to catch a flight and all that stuff. And so even that with Evangeline was really, really funny.
Yeah,
And
she did a good job.
yeah,
she did for a
we managed
teenager
well.
for sure. I was like, just hair in a ponytail. Let's go.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was great. The only downside was getting back, and we had taken down some of our Christmas decorations, but there still were a lot because
Christmas
if you leave,
awaited us when we returned.
Yeah, so
and,
we were
and
like,
by the time you hit, January 5th,
you're ready to be
you're done. So we had said goodbye to Christmas in Orlando.
Came back and the house was
still there like a fly. You're like, oh my gosh,
man.
how's this not spoiled already? So
But it's been I felt like it was a great December, and the vacation to cap it off was really sweet. And I found myself, it was a little rough transitioning back in yesterday, but then today I felt like pretty excited about
I
the
should
new
tell
year.
everybody. So, on the way back, we came back on Monday, and school started on Tuesday because they had an in-service day, I guess, on Monday for teachers to kind of get their feet wet again, all that stuff. So we're traveling back, and like I said, you're up at 3 a.m., you got to get on a flight and a plane and do two flights, and we get home. Everybody's kind of zombied out. Like, you don't really know what to do with yourself. You're like, I got these couple of hours.
You've been up since 3 a.m, but it's just like 1 at home.
By the time you get home, it was, almost just 1. So you and I set out to try and take care of the rest of most of Christmas because it just was cathartic and gave us something to do and all that stuff. And Evangeline just walked around like a pinball, bouncing off of things and just doing something over here and then bouncing over here. And then that night, we tried as much as we could just to kind of treat it normal, not get big in the head or do any of that kind of weird stuff.
Going back to school.
And then Tuesday morning came, and it was like, what is happening here?
It was rough.
She had
Poor girl.
She brought a bunch of instrument stuff home from school because she was supposedly going to rehearse the
She
cello
never
and
does.
drums. Never touched any of it.
She brought home drums and a cello. Like she had like a band with her, pretty much.
The first day back to school, I said, "Okay, well, I'll help you carry this stuff in because the cello is quite large." And so her arms were full of everything else. And so I'm walking into the school with her. We're there about 2 minutes early. Other people are just standing out the door, with these horrible looks on their face, waiting for someone to come unlock the penitentiary to let them back in. And Evangeline was kind of getting a little nervous and anxious because she had a lot to do before the class started. And I said, "Look, let's just wait here until the door at least is unlocked."
Yes.
No one wants to stand outside and do this. So finally somebody came through and unlocked the door. So then we made a mad dash in, and I'm carrying the cello on my back, and she's got all the stuff in her arms, and we're walking down the main hallway, and she just goes,
Oh, it's so sad.
Just feels so familiar.
Oh, poor girl. That's like you remember. And she really likes school.
And it was
but
hilarious
after a
because,
break like that.
and we have obviously the Pioneer layer, and we love this place. But I had the exact same reaction when I walked in. I unlocked the door, came up the stairs, and it's a beautiful
Christmas
space.
stuff is still here.
Everything's here, and you're like, oh, you're here. So it was really, really funny.
Yeah, I know it was. Yesterday, I was grateful to have that transition today. But then today, I found myself excited. I had a meeting to go to, and we were making some plans, and you and I had been able to start talking about what, some hopeful inspiration for the new year, which we kind of take in a low-key manner, as kids would say these days. But today I felt better. I was like,
I've heard
let's
several
do
people
this.
say that they were actually really excited about getting back to their routine, whatever that is. And that's such an interesting thing about how we all want a certain amount of free time or vacation time or whatever.
We think we want it to be really long.
And then, like the Europeans, they take like a whole month. Like
I think we could kill each other with a month. I mean, that's just too much.
And so, there is a happiness about returning to the routine a little bit.
Yeah.
And especially by the time you get to day 2, you're like, oh, okay, I'm back. This is fine.
Exactly. And it was great. And then I found myself thankful for lots of different, grateful for different things in our life. And so yesterday was rough. So today has been better. And actually, I miss doing the podcast and having these conversations and thinking about things. So
yeah. So did you? I think I know the answer to this, but did you make any New Year's resolutions this year? Or
it's interesting because we used to be like, man, we were so hard on ourselves when we were young, like for decades. And we would just be like, what's the
make a list, like top 10 things.
Things we want to work on, new goals and ambitions. And not that there was anything wrong with that. It was probably good. We were younger then, and the world still seems like it's your oyster.
So you're saying now that you have no ambitions?
Now that I have no dreams, it's working out great. No, I think I remember last year at this time, we had a very.
Were we married back then?
We were still married.
Okay.
We'd had an extraordinarily busy December, so much so that we sat down and made a list before December was out of how we do not want to repeat this.
Right.
And we talked about, even on this podcast, the 20% cutbacks, what we're going to do. Cutback was great.
Yes.
And so this year's December, while busy and fun, didn't feel quite so tragic, like with all the things. And so I felt like that was better. Last year, I remember in January, I was like, we've just got to figure out how to make our life not this insane. Right. And so we did some of that.
Yes, we did.
So I said all that
we
to
got
say
better
that,
about, I think, picking the things that had shine on it, not doing things just out of obligation, but because it seemed right to do, and kind of figuring out why we were saying yes to stuff. And
so we said no to some more things. So this year, I have just been trying to approach it with really, rather than used to, I feel like we would make lists and hold on tight, and what are we going to do? And let's have goals. And we had to, because we were working on our career goals and film and music ideas and all those things. But now I feel like I feel like I'm listening. I feel like I'm open.
Yes.
And waiting for inspiration.
Yeah.
Any ideas that would come, any new things we might want to try. But rather than it being something that I feel like I'm latching onto to make happen, I kind of feel like it's open palm. Yeah. Like I'm sort of like, I'm
that's a good description.
Waiting for something to come.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm enjoying the time of more space to organize and getting my I've actually had fun working on the finances today. What's going on with me? I know, just getting things organized. I like to get set for the year, but I think it's a getting set, not because, it's January, I've got to get set for everything. Right. It's more like I have this time, I'm trying to be grateful for it and use it well, because I believe that some new things and some inspiration might just come down like snowflakes. So we'll see. That was a long answer to your question. And do you?
It's great. No, I feel like I'm in a similar place. I feel like inspiration is afoot or in the air or whatever.
On the way.
Though I don't know, I couldn't
You don't have any inklings.
draw that out or tell you specifics or give any details or give you anything. But I feel a little bit like you. Like I feel like, okay, well, I'm just actively listening. I feel like I'm putting my antenna up and saying, it feels like there's this kind of kinetic energy in the atmosphere for good things, positive things, inspirational things.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're, for lack of a better description, on the precipice of stuff, in the waiting. But I can't tell you what any of those things are.
Yeah.
It just feels, in a sense, hopeful, which I find ironic because there's, for me, and I was writing about this today for this column, that on one sense,
the world's falling apart still.
The world is falling apart.
And that's getting worse.
There's this sense of me, there's this half of me on a larger humanity scale that has the sense of despair or the sense of fatigue or the sense of frustration or even I don't really even know what the right word is, but it's just this heaviness about where we are.
It's sort of the weight of the world.
Yeah.
You sense
and
all
that is just there. And so I've really been struggling with that, even though I am not personally impacted by anything that's happening in any of those scenarios. And so as one part of me, as the part that belongs to this greater human race, there's this thing in me going, oh my gosh, can this keep going like this, And I was joking about this picture in my column about, there's this place where if you take like a long road trip and then within the road trip, sometimes interstate sign will pop up and it'll say, next rest stop 1 million miles away. And you're like, oh my God, 1 million, what happens?
We'll never make it.
Then you think to yourself, you weren't even thinking about going to the bathroom. You didn't even need to go to the bathroom. There was no concern about it. But suddenly knowing that the rest stop is now 1 million miles away, you become strikingly aware of your bowels.
So
and
true.
You're like, oh, I feel like I feel like there's something bubbling down here. I feel like there's something that will be in need, and it will be in need in less than 1 million miles.
That's disgusting.
And
I did not expect you to say the word bowels today on the
but the point is, like, it's just the very
podcast.
It's just the very understanding that the rest stop is that far away. Suddenly there's a concern, like, what if I don't make that? What if I get in a need? What if this small need now becomes a big need here soon. And I think in life, there's kind of that thing like where we've been in a place for a while. We keep thinking, when is the rest stop coming? When do we
turn the corner for better times?
When does good stuff happen? When does happiness happen? When does joy happen? When do we take this collective turn and at least change the radio station and stretch our legs and make sure that we're on the right road in the first place, And so there's that part of it. But then on this personal level, there's this other sense of hope. There's this personal sense that, I don't know, that there's inspiration and creativity out there. Good things are happening out there that we are a part of. And while I can't quantify it or qualify it in any way, it just feels like it's there.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, okay, good. I'm just going to try and, like you said, I want to do it open palmed. I don't want to be scraping or scratching or manipulating or making something up.
What can we do this year?
Yeah.
What can we do?
So it's the opposite of where we were, when we were younger, because I think now we have the wisdom and age to recognize seasons and say, oh, okay, it doesn't come that way. You know? It doesn't come with your stressed out wanting and demanding and all that kind of stuff. It comes more with an active listening and an active, oh, here it is now. As your dad would say, in baseball, you got to let the game come to you, and so I find that's where I am on that stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting because we haven't had time to talk about any of that, but that's what I feel like I kind of used to in former days when I was younger and things would get quiet. I would get tempted to make some stuff up. Right. Like, well, let's do this or let's do that because for my personality type, boredom is the enemy. Yes. And I don't have a real easy time resting. And so I have to challenge myself to do that so I can just keep the plate spinning all the time. Yeah. But I have learned now, I feel like I'm making a little bit of progress on this, that especially like January is an opportunity. It's one of the few quiet times of the year. And it's really only about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks that, people kind of are still.
Well, because then you're on the verge of Groundhog Day.
Well, it is my favorite holiday.
You have to get everything ready for Groundhog Day.
Well, I've got a lot of prep to do. It's February 2nd. Did you know it's on a Monday this year?
I know.
I was like, what? Groundhog Day on a Monday?
Up, yeah.
I know.
So it starts to feel like maybe they should just announce it as Groundhog Day should just be the last Friday of January or something.
But no, you can't do that. It's a traditionalist holiday. February 2nd. That's the day.
People get all partied out on Groundhog Day and then they got to go back to, you can't do that on Monday.
Then they're like hungover for Valentine's.
They've had all their, groundnog and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. You just invented that. Please write that down. We are having groundnog. That's so great. You just said groundnog.
I don't even know what you put in groundnog. It's surely a bourbon, I'm sure.
We will figure it out.
Some syrup, maybe
Carl can help us. We're having groundnog. And which is bad because I love, this
True
is a
confessions.
random, this podcast, people are probably have already turned us off, but I love eggnog so much. And one time I looked at the amount of calories, carbohydrates, and sugar on the back.
Don't do it.
And I just was like, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, it's literally like a half cup will be like 400 calories, 900 grams of fat, and 72 carbs. Yeah. And so
a serving size is a thimble.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
But so I have this new rule once I found that out, that I do not allow myself to buy eggnog. First off, I can only get not even the half gallon. It's a quarter gallon. And I can only purchase it for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And that's it. But groundnog, then you've had time to get the Christmas weight off. You could, I feel it coming on.
We'll find out.
I don't know where I was headed with that, except to say that I'm going back now.
Yes.
Now I feel like in the quieter times, I can have a sense of preparing, creating space, getting things in order, and enjoying that quiet, making room to hear inspiration, making room for new ideas, and just enjoy being. And I feel like for like my confessional as an overbusy type person, that I'm doing better with that. Yeah. And I feel like instead of it just being like, I don't have anything going on, it's like, no, I'm creating some space to see what this year might hold. So it's good.
Well, the whole concept of New Year and New Year's Day and resolutions and all that stuff is so interesting to me because there's something about the blank canvas, the turning the corner, the new start, the whole thing that I think is just part of our DNA as humans. Hope is somehow sewn into our souls.
It is.
It's like if you have to look at the ingredients of a person's soul, it would be like one part hope, one part this, one part that, one part that. But it would be one of the essential ingredients. Yeah. Now, it's not that people can't lose hope, because we do, or that we can't fall into despair or any of those things. But from the starting place, hope is such a part of who we are. Yeah. And, even for people, I think, who are semi-fatalistic, on their approach to things, I think that's simply a cover for not wanting to be heartbroken. That's simply a cover for, it's simply telling the hope gene, no, stop, because I don't want to be disappointed in this. Yeah. And so I'm just going to overrule you. But it's still there. Yeah. That despair, that fatalism is a response to the natural hope, I think, in our heart. And I'm not a psychologist, but there's just the view of it, of seeing it and how we operate as a people that, you could be in Ukraine right now and 3 or 4 years into this war, there are still people with an undying hope.
It is. It's amazing. The human spirit is like, it's the beauty of how we're wired. And we don't talk about this much on this particular podcast, but I had a song on my last album. It was called Hope's Down. And it was actually an ode to like my music career. Right. And the close calls I'd had with, songs being discovered or sorted. I'll buy you a drink sometime, tell you all about it, guys. But anyway, and it was basically, it's sort of a metaphor like that hope came in and we danced for a while. And but the last line in the song, and I was just reminded, I came into the office sometimes when you're gone for a place from 2 weeks, that our daughter, who would have been like younger and cuter, I'm just kidding, then made me a sign about the last line, because the last line of the song, it sounds like hopes down, keep your hopes down. But then the last line says, hope I can't quit you.
Yeah.
And she actually made a little sign that I've forgotten about that I have near my desk. It says, hope I can't quit you.
Yeah.
And there's something about the way we're wired and created
Yes.
to be hopeful. And so I think we look for those
Yeah.
opportunities.
Well, it's such a difficult place because, we choose at some level to adjust we adjust our expectations.
Yeah.
So we know that, having expectations is a shortcut to disappointment in a lot of cases, because you're living up here expecting these things to happen, typically for things that you have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
And so we set ourselves up for a certain level of disappointment, especially when other people can't meet or respond to those expectations, or we fail our own expectations because they're just supernatural to begin with. Mm-hmm. But then there's this thing about hope, which is a life source for us, which is also an act of defiance, I think, at some level. To continue to hope is to say, I won't allow this to overpower me. I won't allow this to manipulate or destroy who I am. Because I think within our DNA of the soul and hope being such a specific part of that, there is I think all of our hope looks like us at some level. You know what I mean? So there's generic hope. I hope the world survives. I hope we turn a corner. But then there's this other hope that just kind of looks like, I don't know, maybe it's a description of our inner child or something like that. But it looks like us. And so to continue to hope is such an act of defiance. It's such an act of personal decision. It's such an act of saying, nope, I'm going to do this. Like we have our across the street neighbors. Shout out to Dean and Connie.
Hey, what's up, Dean and Connie?
And we were at their place for a little bit during the holidays to see them, and because they're amazing people and we love them, and
love talking with them.
And they have this tree in their house. It's a little, it's a handmade, it's a lit tree and all that kind of stuff, but it's a manufactured. It's not a real tree, but Connie has made it into this act of art.
I love it.
And the act of art is all hope related, and it's very defiant around the circumstances that she and we are all living in. And so I just find that part, and there's so many ways you can express that. And there is a moment where you put a fist up in the air, and there is a moment when you do this and this, and there is a moment when you do this. There's another thing about nurturing the light in you and saying, nope, I will hold on to this. Yeah. And I don't ever want to be in this case. I don't want it to be tested on me, but I see a lot of people who end up with terminal sickness and really
unbelievable
awful circumstances. Yeah. And yet they have made a choice at some level to continue to be exuberant. They have made a choice at some level to continue to shine as who they are, as the light that's inside them. They've made a choice to find something that they can hope in that moment as an act of defiance, so that the sickness or the circumstance or the divorce or the situation will not own them, and they get to choose.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm reading a book right now because how I am. I'm pretty scholarly. I'm reading. I like to read about history and stuff like that. But no, it's actually historical fiction. But
I've read books that aren't even written yet.
That's very impressive. But no, anyway, it was part of it was set like in World War II, and I can't read too many details on that kind of stuff because of my personality. It just I just can't believe it, and it just weighs heavy on me. I can't live my life because I'm like so sad about World War II. Yeah. But this is a particular story, and this person was in some unbelievable circumstances that you're reading about, and sometimes I think being hopeful is all that people have left.
Yes.
And that is the act of defiance.
Yes.
To say, I've been through this, I've suffered these losses, but you cannot kill me. You cannot crush my soul. Right. And it is amazing. Gosh, one of the reasons I can't get on Facebook very much is because seeing some of the other suffering that my friends have gone through, I just don't know how they remain in the hope they have. But it's also beautiful. I mean, those are our favorite movies, right? The ones where we see people that are in unbelievable circumstances that will not let their souls be crushed, that continue to hope. And they give us hope that maybe we could survive. Yeah. And this is a very deep topic for the new year, but
Well,
I feel some hope.
I feel like, as we talked about, you kind of have these two parts of us. There's this part of us that is the personal part and maybe interacts with a partner or a family or something like that. And then there's this other part that lives in the larger world, the larger universe.
Yeah.
And so, when I struggle, as we were talking about earlier, about this part of me that's living in the greater humanity right now and that despair and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Part of the thing that gives me hope is history.
Yeah.
There are some very unique things to where we live right now in this history right now. But then there's this other part of us that says, oh, well, we have been here before. We have lived in this before. We've done World War II, and we've done pandemics, and we've done this Holocaust, and we've done these things. And so the fact that that history ebbs and flows does give you a hope that we're going to hit the rest stop at some point.
Yes.
We're going to turn a corner at some point. Not all these things can go on, at some point.
Yeah. I was reminded, boy, I am sounding very intellectual, but it's an Emily.
Talk about taking it up a notch.
I know, really. It's an Emily Dickinson poem. And actually somebody, it was really sweet. One time I was singing somewhere, and it's a friend of ours that's a writer, a playwright actually. And he just set this note on my music stand. And it says, this is Emily Dickinson. She says, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." Just set that verse on and he said, "You remind me of this." And it was so sweet. It says, "And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm." Isn't that beautiful? But it is. There's something about it that perches. I love that metaphor. Like if we're a tree, it just perches there and it stays, So anyway.
It's invigorating. I mean, the moment it hope somehow, when you encounter hope, when you make the decision to remain in hope, it takes a thing that seems like you have no power or no future or no whatever, and suddenly you feel invigorated.
Yeah.
You think, oh, okay. Your dad is fond of describing hope at its core as being the belief that things could get better.
Yeah.
Holding on to that this is not a permanent, that this is not an absolute, that things can get better.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the line, you on occasion will say, oh, you know what? This is something I could do to help things be better.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see now this is something I could let go of. And then it's weighing me down. It's burdening me. Yeah. And if I let that go, I become better. I become more buoyant.
Well, and here's something that's interesting when we talk about, we're, the state of the world right now is very much in flux. But what's so interesting about life is that there are people, like if we looked at our friend group or people in Dreamers or our surrounded community, there are people right now that are going through really, really tough times.
Yes.
And there are people right now that are doing okay.
Yeah.
And I think, what to do when that hope isn't coming.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason that we talk about community so much and not isolating, because if you're not feeling hopeful right now, good listeners, go be around some people that maybe are.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have coffee with you.
I mean, will tell you.
There are times when we're not going to feel hopeful, but we have to draw from one another.
Yeah. I will tell you that there was a little stretch during the holiday season that was just difficult. It was just a thing that happens. And so, but part of that is that you feel your hope assaulted a little bit. And I felt that way. And I was like, if I was trying to describe what I'm experiencing right now, there's a bit of a sense of hopelessness.
It was sort of like when I looked at the back of the eggnog carton.
Oh, no. Yes, right.
My favorite beverage.
And then I had found, though, that in those moments, as usual, as we talk about, that humans are the new superdrug. And so going and being with people really, really helped. And, being with people that can encourage you and people that would help me take my mind off myself for a second, help me take my mind off of the circumstances and situation for a second. And so if nothing else, it was an hour or two of relief, if nothing. But in general, the lasting impact of it was I felt better. Yeah. I felt like, oh, this is like I'm taking some daily doses of an antibiotic that's helping clear this virus up of despair, of hopelessness. And the more I take these, doses of this with humanity, the better I feel. And then soon, within a couple of days, I thought, I feel better.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I think I'm okay now.
I think I know that we all get caught in we call them tapes, like what cassette tape plays in your mind.
Right.
So when we're struggling, a lot of us have the same struggles over and over again. It's just how we are as humans. And I think when we are down on ourselves and we are stuck in the cycle of that tape, and then we force ourselves to step outside of that, to be with other people, not only do we feel more hopeful, but I think we're able to see who we really are reflected back from that other person. So if I'm feeling horrible about myself and these particular failures that I have, but I go out to coffee with someone or I see someone else, and they don't see me the way that I'm seeing myself in my mind. They see me the way that I probably really am with most people, which is, kind and hopeful, I hope.
Yeah.
And so we can get so stuck in that. But when we're with other people, I think they're able to, they see us for who we really are more.
Yeah.
And they reflect that back into us.
Absolutely.
They are the context for who we really are.
Right.
And so I am, one of the things I did today, because I'm a lister.
Yes,
My lists have lists. But actually that helps me because my mind is somewhat frenetic, all the time. So if I can write things.
To bed, right?
Yeah, I put it exactly. And so I actually made a list today of people because January gives me some space to do that I had connected with in December. And they had said something like, hey, we should go get coffee. Or, man, I like hanging out with you. I have one really sweet neighbor was like, hey, we've got to. And I said, hang out? She's like, yeah. And so I made a list of like 6 people that I'm going to have.
Was I on the list?
No, I'm going to see.
Wow.
I see you a lot.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like we're together a lot.
In fact, there could be enough of me, but that's fine.
Never enough. But no, I made that list because I have time in January and I'm going to go just get with them and see. And some of that, I'm sure it'll be a nice time with each of them. And some of that I'll really feel like, hey, this is a friendship you need to work building on, or this person needs more hope or some encouragement, or this person can really give me, wisdom here.
Right.
But I actually made a list of that. And so for people that are not feeling hopeful yet, that's something that you can do. I mean, what else do you do when you are in need of hope?
Well, it's interesting that you should ask that question.
Well, I hadn't thought about asking it, but now I will.
I hadn't thought about it, but here are 3 things you could do.
Did you really? You're so cute. Oh, I see your sticky note now. Good job.
No, that's actually unrelated. But
okay.
No, there are a couple of things that I've been thinking about as I've been trying to hold on to hope and to that. So one of those things is this thing we talked about where just remembering either on a personal level or on a larger scale level that things do ebb and flow. I have been in places before that were difficult and then personally been able to turn a corner and been into happier seasons and happier times and all that kind of stuff. So knowing that where I am right now is not necessarily where I'll be the rest of my life or forever, that this is a difficult spot here or there, or that where we are as humanity is where we are right now, but that doesn't mean things can't change or won't change, that things won't transition, that we won't turn a corner. So throughout the history, there's been ebbs and flows. There's been waves that come in and the waves that go out. And so knowing that, I can say, oh, okay, this is not forever. This is difficult, but good things can happen. Seasons can change and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The second thing is like you were talking about, which is so true, which is being with other people. So in the midst of that, I didn't put this on you to fix it or anything like that or try and bring you down. But during the holidays when I hit a rough couple of days there, and I just was honest with you. I said, this is what I'm experiencing, and this is what that feels like, and this is why I think it's happening. And
you were also good to say. A lot of times when people are struggling, we assume that they're upset with us.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't say that, I would have thought, well, he's just mad at me or whatever.
Yeah.
And you might
have
been.
Being able to be honest with you as somebody who's great, but then also being around other people and even being able to help other people. So that, again, I was taking my eyes off myself. I was helping somebody else. I was aware of what was going on for them. I was intentional about some of that stuff. That was really fantastic.
Yeah.
And so being with people has been really fantastic. And then, I get tired of us having to talk about this or me talking about it, but
I'll let you know if it's tiring.
But this thing about gratitude.
Yeah.
The idea of waking up and thinking, okay, as we've been joking about, your sister came up with this thing or found this thing somewhere about the first 9 minutes or 9 things in the first 2 minutes of your day or whatever. I don't know what it was. But
it was tough.
But it was like, as I'm still laying in bed.
Thinking of.
Before I go anywhere, before I get out, before I do anything, I'm thinking, okay, I am in this amazing house, this amazing warm bed. It's cold outside, but I'm here, and I'm in a family that loves me and that I love back. Yeah. And then I can think about probably 3 or 4 things from the day before that I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that this happened. I'm so thankful that happened. That's really wonderful, this, and this. And so the idea of being conscious and aware and intentional about gratitude reminds me that good things are happening all the time. Yes. And that helps regenerate and renew hope. Yeah. Oh, okay, this, and this. And so
it's like fuel for hope.
Yeah. And then again, it becomes this, it becomes a positive act, it becomes an act of growth, and it becomes an act of defiance. And it also says I have a certain level of control about my personal life. I can't control global politics. I can't control national politics or even city politics. But I can control these things in my life as much as I want to. And so being really intentional about gratitude and recognizing that is, and so when good things happen, like on the spot, I will think, oh yeah, super cool. Yeah. And then getting better about announcing those things
and saying it out loud. No, it's great.
So, like on our trip, when we were at Universal, not just thinking, wow, this is great weather today, this is gorgeous, whatever. I just saying, man, this is amazing weather. This is fantastic.
This is so cool. It's 67
oh my gosh,
degrees.
Did you see this, and this? Oh, doesn't this, isn't this a fantastic, and just announcing things. Yeah. As a recovering undercommunicator, it's really, really important to vocalize those things and to vocalize the good of what's happening.
It is.
I can vocalize the bad all the time, but
and we joke about getting tired of having to talk about gratitude, but the truth is, it's like exercise. Yes. So you can't. If you want to be healthy, hopefully, and keep your mobility and maybe prevent some future health problems, et cetera. Right. Because it's not about looking hot, because that doesn't work for me. But if you thanks, babe. If you want to do that, you can't just be like, well, I'm going to be grateful today. I'm going to be grateful this week. Right. You got to do it most days. Yeah. And that's the thing with gratitude, it is a bit of an exercise but it reaps immediate benefits.
But it can become a habit.
It doesn't
like on this thing that your sister was talking about with the 9 things. I think it's the 9 minutes, but I called it 9 things. And so I set in my toiletry drawer, I guess, where my toothbrush and toothpaste and all that stuff are. Yeah.
You kind of need to straighten that, by the way, New Year's goal.
I set a little note card in there, and all it has on there is the number 9. Yeah. So when I pull that drawer open, the very first thing I see is, oh yeah, number 9. Yeah. And it's become, now I don't need that note. Now it's a habit. Now when I wake up, I think,
it wasn't 9 things. I think it was, you're supposed to try to find maybe 4 or 5 things that you're grateful for within the first 9 minutes of when you wake up. Because but
I'm an overachiever, so I went from 9 to 9. So.
I'm like, 9 things is a lot, but no, it's good. But it's funny. One of my favorite things that I got for Christmas, and we're kind of like not big materialism gift giver so much. We just give sentimental stuff, little cutesy stuff and all that. But our daughter, I was actually quite honored, because I know that I am by nature a positive person. That doesn't mean that I feel positive all the time, but it is kind of how I am wired, is to look for that and try for that. Believe me, there are days where I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth, because I know how I feel inside, but I want to help other people with that. And I'm sure our daughter gets annoyed with me at times. I'm like, well, that's cool. And I am tried to be easier on myself and people around me, to let people experience their feelings, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not say, I understand how you feel that way. Yeah, man, that sucks. Anything positive we can pull out of this, that kind of deal. So, but she got me a card, and it cracked me up. I brought it to my desk. It was like my favorite thing. It was just a card. It was like funny cartoon artwork. And there's a person, we have this thing about sharks. Like, I don't like swimming in the lake because I know they're in there.
You were ruined by the movie Jaws as a kid.
Dude, I was so ruined by it.
You still have PTSD, like swimming and it was
pools.
A movie.
I mean, why did I watch that? What were my parents thinking? Anyway, but we've never let her see it because I want her to enjoy swimming. So anyway, the card has a person, like this little kid kind of coming up out of a shark, and he's got his little scuba mask on, and he's giving a thumbs up, except for he's being...
So think of, listeners...
Describe it better.
Listeners, think of the poster from Jaws. So all you see is the shark kind of coming straight up out of the... The shark is coming straight out of the water, and the mouth is... open, agape, and all you see is rows and rows of teeth, and so it's just as if he's coming up to bite something or munch something. So it's that shark image-ish, and then a kid.
It's all cartoon.
Kind of half in the shark, half out, obviously being eaten.
Yes.
But he's smiling.
He's got the thumbs up, and he has a scuba mask on, and it says, "Stay positive." And I was like, and it's tough. Anybody that has kids, like sometimes you wonder what they even think of you, especially when they're 14. I said, "Did you get this? Why'd you get this for me?" And she goes, "Well, because Mom, that's how you are. Like you're being half eaten by a shark, and you're like, stay positive." But I love that. And the truth is, I mean, that's ridiculous. But I guess that kid and the shark would have to be like, well, my torso or my legs are eaten, but I still have my torso. So there's a part of that can be.
I don't have to buy flip-flops anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a part of that can seem ridiculous when people are going through really tough stuff. So it's not about.
It's not what they call Pollyanna.
Exactly. And it's certainly not about when somebody's going through a shitty patch. Excuse me, everyone. That's the time to hammer them with positivity. Yeah. That's not the point. The point of it that's so funny is. Even in that, there's got to be something to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
And when we try to make that shift, man, so it's like, I'm going to try to be grateful and enjoy the space and be grateful for the new year.
Even though it's corny and it's, they're just days on the calendar and all that stuff, I think seizing the opportunity for the fresh start, it's why we start. Yeah. It's why we start diets on Monday. It's why we look for blank canvases. Yeah. It's why we, believe in New Year's Day. It's why you and I, got married on New Year's Day. It was because, this is the new beginning. This is the new thing. Yeah. We're going to start here.
I still like our anniversary. I mean, usually we're broke and fat from Christmas. It's definitely not romantic.
No.
But
But it says hope.
It says hope.
Yeah.
It's a new year. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, and there's definitely something to that. And I think as humans, the whole holiday cycle, like we're so predictable as humans, it's so funny. But I think, like we got to have a pretty significant amount of time off.
Right.
A lot of it was spent with family and, responsibilities for the holidays, but it was kind of nice. And then we, really kind of got to lounge some. And it's almost, we're funny as humans. Like we have to overeat, overdrink, over-relax before we realize,
I don't know all this.
This isn't that great.
Yeah.
And then it's time to get back to it. But don't you feel like sometimes those cycles of excess lead to, this isn't as fulfilling as I thought it would be.
It's also funny that you just divided by 24 hours, coming out of Christmas, there was, and I think it's gotten worse with age, but there was this sentimentality and this, the thing about time passing. By the time you start putting decorations away, for whatever reason, it just starts to feel like this incredible reminder. Oh yeah,
yes,
time
is
passing.
Fleeting. I know, it's the worst.
And there's
it's
this
like a punch in the
tremendous
face.
Sentimentality, like things are fleeting and they're leaving you, and then the next day it's New Year's, and you're like, oh, I've got a fresh start. Here we go. There we go.
But I mean, I know it's so funny, but the holiday cycles, it's just like, it's pretty cool.
And so
that
now
way.
I find
Let's
myself,
embrace it,
now I find myself saying, oh, what could happen? Yeah. What might happen? What are the possibilities here
this year?
And then you think, okay, and will all this happen? No, but there's a chance.
Yeah.
But there's a chance.
There's a chance, Charlie Brown.
And so here we are.
Let's get our hope on. Get our hope on,
Get our hope on, and if nothing else, you can make it an act of defiance.
Yeah.
But personal hope, and hope is contagious. When we acknowledge the good that's happening here, when we suggest the good that might happen, and we do that in a way that is aware of the people around us, then we spread hope. And then in that moment, then we find ways to not just foster hope, but we find ways to fulfill hope. Yes. And we say, oh, okay, now that I've thought about this, if I let this go, good things could happen. Or if I did this, good things could happen. If I went over and took care of these things, this hope might be fulfilled. And then you're like, okay, great.
And what hope can I bring to other people around me?
Right.
It's not just about my hope.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Yes.
And the beauty of that is when we bring hope to other people, even if we're not feeling hopeful inside, it brings hope to ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
Man, it's contagious.
Well, and we can be ambassadors for hope by thinking about, who might need that.
Yeah, right.
And reach
I'm
out
to
to them.
I'm going to go make another list right now.
I know you is, because a list is nothing but a list of hope.
That's the truth.
Many hopes.
I'm not saying I'm going to check everything off my list. I'm just going to make the list.
I hope I do this.
I hope I check this off.
Well, we hope that you will join us the next time we get together for the Dreamers Live podcast, that you might even go back and check out some of the other podcasts. Go listen to the Mystics podcast if you're so daring and so wanting. But and we're hopeful that you might join us at our next Dreamers Live event, which we anticipate being...
Yes, Groundhog Weekend. Details to follow.
With Groundhog available.
Yeah, Groundhog is coming. I'm working on the recipe right now.
And
I just love it. It is super fun. But no, this might be a good podcast. This one could be a good one to share with a friend that you need to go have coffee with and say, hey, I've been feeling kind of down. I'm looking for some hope in the new year. Maybe that would be weird. Maybe you don't say that.
Especially if they can get past the Universal conversation.
Which one? The Universal Studios, Yeah, tell them that we talk a lot about our vacation initially. So fast forward.
Fast forward 5 minutes to be fine.
But it could be a good one to say, hey, I thought you might enjoy this podcast. Let's get together and talk about some hopes that we have for this year. It would be a good way to get that rolling.
And meanwhile, we hope to see you soon.
Yes, we do.
Thanks,
see you
friends.
guys.
Peace out.
Thanks for listening. We'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the podcast and then share it with the people you know. We want to include as many people as possible in the conversation. Also, be sure to check out our Got a Minute Mini podcast, which pairs funny stories with original music all in about 15 minutes. Thanks! This has been a production of Pioneer Dream.